13 things that women find unattractive in a man. Number 13, complaining.
All of us have some stuff we don't like, but if a man is complaining about everything in sight and finding the negative where none should be, it's time to kick that guy to the curb.
Being negative is just not an attractive trait because nobody wants to be around that much negativity all the time. If your date is whining about how everyone is always out to get him, it should be clear that he's the issue, not the other people. Another big turnoff is the same as complaining about an ex-girlfriend. If a guy is going on and on about his past and crazy exes, it's obvious that the common denominator is him. Pointing the finger at everyone around him as the problem is just a way of taking the blame away from himself. And there's no bigger red flag to let you know that there is something seriously wrong with this guy. Next. Number 12, bad manners. Obviously, bad manners are unattractive in both women and men, but bad manners are definitely a major turnoff for women when it comes to a man, because it's part of the first impression you make. From the regular bad table manners like chewing your gum with your mouth wide open, or texting at the table during dinner, to other bad behaviors like being rude to service staff or letting the door slam in your date's face. Bad manners are anything but attractive, and are a sure way to destroy your chance at a second date. Bad manners come off as immature and can move from simply affecting your attractiveness to your overall personality. It means you don't care about what people think of you or how they deserve to be treated. It makes you look selfish and entitled. Not exactly a good sign of potential boyfriend material. If you need to be reminded not to talk with your mouth full or don't hold the door open for someone behind you, you're definitely not scoring any points with the ladies. Number 11, selfishness. This doesn't just apply to daytime activities, where a guy who thinks of himself can seem immature, shallow, self-absorbed, and selfish. But it also applies to the fun stuff, like what happens in the bedroom. While women oftentimes get an unfair reputation for not being as into doing the deed as guys are, we're also faulted with not being able to get our engine running as quickly. But guys, part of this falls to you. Multiple sources have stated that women find selfishness in the bedroom to be a major turnoff, because the guy seems more about getting pleased than ensuring his lady friend has a good time. Failing to warm the oven before getting down to business shows that the guy is simply not aware of the female anatomy, and for some, this is necessary to get things moving smoothly. Come on, gentlemen. If you want to cook the pasta, you need to make sure the water is boiling first. Number 10, gym obsession. We all appreciate a nice rock-hard body with abs that could grate cheese, but when a guy only talks about how much he can bench at the gym or how he has to have a meal with a certain amount of protein, most women's interest will shut right off. We get that you like the gym, but guys who blab on and on about hitting the gym or how much they can lift, only to take a bunch of mirror selfies while they're there, are the same as girls who won't stop talking about their new clean eating diet. It's boring and people really don't care. It makes you sound like you're a self-centered, boring person to be around. Health is awesome, but when it takes up the bulk of your conversations, we're gonna pass.
Plus, guys who obsess over working out make some women feel insecure and think you're judging our bodies, and we all know women already do enough of that on their own.
If that's the case, us women won't feel comfortable around you, so this just isn't gonna happen. Number 9, video games. Unless you identify yourself as a gamer girl or a video game geek, you might not think this one is much of a turnoff, but a lot of women find men that play video games to be completely unattractive. Probably because, in part, to the fact that it's associated with kids and tends to be a bit juvenile and immature, playing video games is not usually a quality that women would say is a turn-on for them. Guys who spend way too much of their time glued to their screens seem like unmotivated and bad communicators, because they would rather talk to their friends online or through characters in their games instead of real people and go out into the real world. There's just something about a grown man holding a video game controller that doesn't make us want to drop our clothes to the floor. As the old saying goes, boys will be boys. Then you can bet those boys will have video games. Women see it as something kids and boys do, not grown men. Number 8, being clingy. It's one thing to have a guy drool over you, but it's quite another thing when he simply won't leave you alone. Girls often get blamed for taking things too quickly when it comes to relationships, but guys can be just as guilty when it comes to locking things down and making it official.
It's nice when a guy lets you know he's thinking about you, but it's less than sweet, even somewhat stalker behavior, when a guy is calling and texting you multiple times once you're out of his sight.
Making your lady your number one job might sound romantic, but in reality, it seems like you have no life and nothing else to do. We have our own lives and our own to-do lists every day and every week, so making yours all about us doesn't make us feel valued or wanted. Instead, it makes us feel like we need to change our phone number and change the locks on our doors. Number 7, bad hygiene. If first impressions are everything, then it's definitely not a good idea to show up to a date looking and smelling like you crawled out of a garbage can. Bad hygiene is extremely unattractive to any woman because it means you don't take pride in yourself and lack self-care. So you probably won't take pride or care for her either. Unbrushed teeth, no shower, no deodorant, bad skin, and dirty nails are all enough to turn a girl off. It might sound superficial, but they are all an assault on our senses. Nobody likes to kiss someone who has bad breath. It's an automatic turnoff. Women love men who make an effort, and that goes for all aspects, not just hygiene. Showing effort in yourself, and for her, shows that you really care about not just yourself, but her as well. Whether if it's as simple as getting all cleaned up for a date, or surprising her with something at work, or setting up an appointment for her to get her nails done. Women love the effort. Having respect for yourself is necessary in order for others to respect you. If a man isn't going to put any effort required to keep himself looking and smelling good for you, why should we put forth the effort of looking super hot and calling him back again? Number 6, cheapness. We're grown-up women with grown-up responsibilities, so we're by no means asking you to go crazy with expensive dinners and lavish gifts. But when a guy is really pinching his pennies, we might think that he'll just be as stingy with his affections. Great dates don't need to cost money, but when money is the only thing on a man's mind and all that he talks about, it can really turn us ladies off of him altogether. Cheapness can also work hand in hand with bad manners, especially when it comes to how they treat service workers. A man who is a bad tipper is usually looked at as unattractive because they lack compassion for someone who is simply doing their job and taking care of their needs. Penny pinching can definitely be beneficial in the long run, but keeping those purse strings tied too tight might mean that nothing else is opening up either. Number 5, mama's boy. It might seem sweet when a man appreciates and loves his mother, but being a mama's boy is a whole different thing. And oddly enough, some men are proud of this. Being close to your mom because she is the one that created you and raised you is great. But when your mom is all in your adult life and being nosy about your personal and professional relationships, it's time to cut the cord. If a guy is acting like the ultimate mama's boy, then he'll probably end up with only one woman for the rest of his life: his mom. Mama's boys seem to be content to be taken care of by the woman who knows him best, and it's usually at the expense of everything else that comes along with being an adult, like independence and having your own responsibility. A guy who can't take care of himself is very unattractive, and nothing describes a mama's boy better than that. Number 4, no motivation. Lack of motivation and laziness are one of the top 3 things women say is being unattractive in men. Sitting on your butt all day drinking beer in front of the TV isn't a job. Lack of motivation to change your current situation can really mess up the balance in a relationship.
Not having plans for your future and having no goals can be a big turnoff because it means that you're not thinking ahead for your own life, let alone your girlfriend's future either.
Sure, laziness can be appealing and we all need some lazy days to recharge ourselves, but when your full-time job is to sit around at home all day and not even get paid for it, don't be surprised when a grown woman leaves you for the career she's had her heart set on all her life, or something she's been working towards for a long time, because that will get her farther than sitting around waiting for you to make a life move. Number 3, self-obsession. On the flip side of bad hygiene, we have self-obsession, where your self-care and self-obsession goes a little too far to the point where it seems like you'd rather date yourself, since you love you so much. No lady wants to be involved with a man who takes more time to get ready than she does. After all that primping and getting ready comes off as overly feminine to us, which, to the old-fashioned woman, simply isn't attractive. We're supposed to be the ones making ourselves pretty, and the men are supposed to shower, shave, comb, and be done. If a guy has a wardrobe more extensive than us ladies do, it doesn't make us jealous. It has us thinking, what on earth? Self-obsession can also seem like insecurity, and when a guy is checking himself out more than he's checking out his lady, she's probably going to bail on the whole situation fast. Number 2, no culture. As we grow up, we take on different interests and like certain things, like movies, music, books, food, art, and tons of other things in life. That's part of the fun of growing up, is that we have no restrictions and can simply do what we want and engage in the things that we like.
That's why it can be a major turnoff when we see a man who are happy and stuck in their culture rut and think everything outside of their norm is weird.
We like to try new things and usually want to experience them with someone else, which is why a lot of women find it unattractive when a guy shoots down ideas that are outside of his comfort zone before even giving it a try. It shows that you're close-minded and not open to new experiences in life. It can be fun to persuade someone into trying something new for the first time, but if your man is shooting down all your invitations and would rather hang out and do the usual get pizza and watch a football game, then it's safe to say you've probably outgrown him, and it's time to move on up to better things and a better man. Number 1, arrogance. The number 1 thing women find unattractive is arrogance. We all like some confidence in the person we're interested in because it's that self-assuredness that is attractive and radiates charisma. But if that confidence moves to cockiness and arrogance, then sorry guys, but we're out.
Going out with a guy only to have it turn into an interview about himself is nobody's idea of a good time. and will definitely have us looking for an excuse to end the date early.
If a man wants to have a conversation with himself, he should just carry a mirror in his pocket. Confidence is a great thing, but when someone starts to think that they're a god, they can turn ugly real fast. Arrogance is without a doubt the least attractive thing women agree on when it comes to men.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.